Full Blast Podcast, let's take a ride into the mind of Smoothie. Video games and comic books, we'll talk about horror movies. Let's go retro, checking the scene. Talk about things in magazines. We'll talk about the things that we've seen on screen and the 9-0s on the 19.
What's going on, everyone? It is your boy Smoothie, but of course, welcoming you back to the Mind of Smoothie Podcast. And for those of you who may just be listening to this podcast, there's a little something different going on. I don't know if you can point it out or not. That's right, we're doing a video version of this podcast, something that I've wanted to do from the beginning of the show all the way back in 2020, and haven't gotten around to it then, and still haven't fully gotten around to it now, so this is going to be a complete learning curve for me. I've done video podcasts before. Of course, I've worked with other people, and I typically was never in the director or producer chair, and I'm a one-man show here, so I'm going to be switching between screens here and bringing up the clips of what I'm going to show you, which we'll talk about in a second. So I ask you to bear with me, and if this is something that you would like to see more of, if you would like to see a video version of the podcast each and every week, please let me know in the comments below on this video. And without further ado, we're going to jump right into it. So the reason that I picked this episode to jump in and do a video version of the podcast was because we are only, as of the time of this recording, it is December 13th. We're only 12 days away from Christmas, and my intentions are to have at least one, maybe two, possibly 3 episodes completed and released by Christmas, maybe a day or two after, within the month of December. That's my short-term goal to close out the year strong. So I was kind of thinking and mulling over and looking at past notes of different things. What could be a good Christmas-themed episode or holiday-themed episode? And again, going back to last year, I had some movies, which may still come up again in a later one in this month. But one of the other things, I had made a blog post on my Tumblr. Yes, I'm still using Tumblr and trying to make more efficient use of it. But my Tumblr blog, mindofsmoothie.tumblr.com, I had made a post encapsulating my top 5 holiday advertisements. I'm a sucker for retro commercials, and specifically Christmas commercials or holiday commercials. They always had such a huge impact on me during this time of year as I was growing up. So I initially was just going to do audio and point you to that and throw the audio of these commercials in, but some of them are just strictly audio, and you kind of need the visual to go along with it. So I said, well, let's just dive right in, feet first, do a video version so I can share the videos with you. So I ask you in this inaugural episode doing this, the video piece, to bear with me as I'm a one-man show. Like I said, as I navigate, make sure I unpause and unmute and do different things just to share these commercials with you. So without further ado, we're going to jump in to the number 5 commercial. This commercial is the TJ Maxx holiday ad, and this one ran specifically in 1988.
TJ Maxx. Over 10,000 new Christmas gift ideas arrive at TJ Maxx every week, so it's never the same place twice.
No, it's never, ever the same place twice. Yesterday, this week, this Christmas Eve night, get the Maxx for the minimum price, and it's never, ever the same place twice. TJ Maxx.
See, forgot to unmute myself there. So that was the TJ Maxx holiday ad from 1988. Now that one is not so much about the visuals per se. It's your standard, department store commercial ad with the holiday coat of paint on it. But the jingle is very, very distinctive. And I still find myself singing that throughout the years since I first laid my eyes on that commercial. Now, that commercial or that similar jingle ran throughout the year. Maybe it may or may not still be running, but they tweaked it, of course, for Christmas. They never ever the same place or price twice. And they said like next Christmas Eve night, usually during the year, be like next Friday night or something like that. Whatever. They customized it for the holiday season. I'm glad they did, and I'm glad that earworm has lingered with me this long, and I hope it will linger with you. Now we're going to move on. The number 4 spot goes to this McDonald's commercial from 1983, where we get to see Ronald ice skating with some children and some animated critters. So let's flip over to that. Try and make it full screen for you. Thank you, VintageTVCommercials.com, for supplying this goodness. Alright, so that was the McDonald's holiday commercial, I guess however you want to call it, from 1983. So that commercial just, for years, I forget, I did look up, it ran well into the 90s, I believe. I think they had some variations as they changed the actor who portrayed Ronald. But definitely a staple, definitely set the tone and the feeling, though it's not really Christmassy, but it's that winter aesthetic that's going on. And yes, I pretended when I was younger that I was that boy being hoisted above his head by Ronald McDonald, because I could not roller skate. I've never tried ice skating. I tried roller skating before, and then my wrist still hurt from falling. And ice skating I never attempted, and don't think I ever will at this point. Although I don't want to rule it out, because if you're a follower of me here on YouTube, you've seen videos I've posted in the past couple of years of me trying to learn how to skate at over 40. So I guess you can never say never. So we'll see. But yeah, that's pretty much that. It's just a staple. And if you're familiar with any of these commercials, let me know down in the comment which one of these 5 out of these 5 are your favorite. Maybe I have the order all wrong. So moving right along, we're going to move into number 3. This is a Hershey Kisses holiday commercial, and this debuted in 1989. So we're going to flip you over here. We're going to mute over here. Alright, so that was the Hershey Kisses commercial from 1989. This is another commercial that's ran for many years now, and I believe when I was looking it up, they've, of course, over the years, updated, fresh coat of paint on the Hershey Kisses themselves. They, seem to change color, at least, or got more pronounced, more vivid. And also in 2016, I know there was a variation at it where there's a father and his son or daughter, I forget which, they're making cookies, and, it starts off like the normal commercial that you're used to, and then you see the child pull one of the Hershey Kisses out. I don't know if it's the one that rings or not, and eats it. So I don't know. I know that did get some criticism along the way, but it's still another one that as soon as I hear the bells, if you will, the Hershey Kiss bells, I know what commercial it is, and it just, there's that kid sitting back on a Saturday morning watching cartoons around the holiday season, waiting for the next toy that I want to ask for to come on, and you get this commercial, another good one. And of course, it worked. At least in my house, we had those in the coffee dish, or not the coffee dish, the candy dishes around the house, along with, and I was going to include this on here, you can go look it up yourself, the Holidays candies, which were pretty much M&Ms. They were made by M&Ms, but they were called Holidays. They were red and green. That's what you got at Christmas. I think, if I'm remembering correctly, they had little Christmas trees or little snowflakes maybe on them. I'm not quite sure about that, but they were definitely red and green and just called Holidays by the people who brought you M&Ms, instead of, I think now they just make M&Ms that are red and green. So, yes, number 3, Hershey Kisses holiday ad. I am sorry, like I said, bear with me. This is all new. I'm just trying to present it in a good and concise fashion. I apologize for those of you listening audio. Hopefully I can clean it up a bit and you're not hearing it as horrendous as it is. So, next commercial is the Fruity Pebbles holiday commercial, Christmas commercial. This aired for the first time in 1986, this version, and we'll talk more about the other version when we come back.
Yummy Fruity Pebbles in our bowls. Oh, here comes you-know-who. Yabba dabba fruit, delicious stew. Ho, 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 I'm hungry. Santa, my pebbles! Your pebbles! 'Tis the season to be sharing, Fred. Happy holidays, pal. Oh, Fred. Fruity and Cocoa Pebbles cereals, part of this nutritious breakfast. Ho, 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 ho.
Again, this commercial is still another one that has, it's like the trifecta. One, would have been like a Saturday morning cartoon. We got Fred Flintstone and Barney Rubble. I know they were before my time, but you'd always catch the reruns. And I think in the 80s or by the 80s, we had the Flintstones kids and everything. So definitely iconic characters of the time and iconic cereals I still eat today. I know a lot of people my age have moved on to those Magic Spoon cereals and the more healthy alternatives, because let's be honest, those cereals are nothing but sugar, but I can't escape it, and that's probably why I look the way I do. But I still enjoy myself a bowl of Fruity Pebbles every now and then. Lucky Charms, Golden Grahams, you name it. Now, with that commercial, after the original one, they did change voice actors for Santa in a later one, but the commercial, stayed the same. And same jingle and everything, just different voice of Santa and narrator overall. But I just found out recently, and maybe I should have included it, but I'm not going to, or when I was doing research about this, that a variation of this commercial aired in 1990. No, I'm sorry, 1980. Something like that. Prior to this iteration you see here, where you see Barney putting on the Santa disguise, going down, but there's no jingle at all. It's just, there's holiday music in the background. But the dialogue is similar, but not the same. So I never even knew. I don't even recall seeing that one. So I didn't even know it existed until the other day when I was doing the research. So I'm glad that I did see that. You could go to YouTube and search for it. Fruity Pebbles 90s commercial or 1980 Christmas commercial. I don't know. You can search for it, or I will include it in the description of this episode below, or for the audio version, I will include a link in the show notes. So we're here. Here we are at the number 1. Again, I thank you for checking out this version of the podcast, this video version. I hope it's something that I can continue to enhance as we move along, be more clear about it, and hopefully it gets positive feedback overall. Of course, I hope you also do take the time to listen to the audio version as well, because I really do love doing that. But I thank you, and I just want to pause here and say that thank you for bearing with me in this. I'm not even going to edit this video much before I put it out. Of course, I'll edit the audio, and it'll be a little different, the audio version than this. But thank you, and here we are at number 1. This commercial, this was probably one of the first commercials once YouTube, or even when the internet became more powerful. When we'll say powerful, I was around for the beginning of the internet, and you could search some stuff and it had crappy video things. But as it started to get bigger and people were archiving this stuff more and uploading these treasures more, I can say this was probably one of the first commercials that I searched for. And here we are. This is number 1 favorite commercial, hands down, for me. I will never change my opinion on this commercial. So this commercial is the Folger's Peter Comes Home holiday commercial. I forget when this was in the 80s. I forget which year, because I forgot to write it down. I think it was 1986 or 85, if I'm remembering correctly. Don't hold me to that. Just know it was in the 80s. So you probably are familiar with this commercial already, so we're going to get into it right now.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Everyone's asleep.
I know how to wake them up. Come on.
Best wishes for this and all your mornings from Folgers.
Man, so many memories associated with that one. And I remember one of my earliest memories with this particular commercial. I remember when I was really young on Saturday mornings, because back in the 80s, we didn't have TVs in our room, or if we did, they were 13 inches, and you had to manually go out and, change the channel by hand, with the little knobs, adjust the bunny ears, all that good stuff. But on Saturday mornings, I'd be excited to, start watching Saturday morning cartoons, and I would go into my parents' room. They had a 19-inch TV with a remote control, which was mind-blowing. That was huge to me. And plus, I was, on top of it, probably when my eyes aren't good nowadays. And I remember this before the sun had come up and seeing this commercial for the first time. And ever since then, it's always been in my mind. And one of the other reasons I find this special is I have a brother who went to school out of state, and he would come home around Christmas time. But we would not like this. We'd go pick him up at the airport and everything, but I would always look forward to that because, I hadn't seen him, I guess summer I don't think he would come home on Thanksgivings, if I remember correctly. I think he just came home at Christmas, so it would be months without seeing him. And that was, even if he didn't have a job or whatever, so you wouldn't see him as frequently. And that commercial kind of captures that memory now. He doesn't pull up. My brother never came home in a cab or got dropped off and snuck in the house or made Folger's coffee. But I always made that association. And when I saw that commercial, it was Christmas time. I couldn't wait. Seeing the tree lit up in there, the snow. I'm not a big fan of snow anymore. But then it was a special time. And definitely that commercial holds a special place in my heart. As you all hold a special place in my heart. And here we are at the end of this podcast. Again, thank you for bearing with me. It's a learning curve for sure, being able to do this myself and make the transitions and do everything without any hiccups. So if I did make any hiccups, I'll find out when I listen back or watch the video back. I know there were a couple times where I was slow to unmute the commercials, but we're all good. We're here at the end, and I want to thank you for taking your time to check this out. Please give me your honest feedback in the comments below. I won't be too hurt. If I have to delete a comment, I will. But no, overall, I'm just looking for some constructive criticism. Thank you. On how this video piece worked. Again, this episode, I think, wouldn't have been as effective if it was just audio only. You need to see some of these commercials, and especially if you were around when they were out. They can hopefully transport you back to that time, a simpler time. So that's going to do it. I want you all to have a great Christmas. Again, hopefully this isn't the last episode for the season. Hopefully we got one or two more in us, and hopefully I'll be back soon. I don't know if it'll be video or not. We'll see how well this one does if I go ahead and take the time to do both. But as always, feel free to check out mindofsmoothie.com, which is hasn't been updated. Actually, at the moment, it'd probably be better if you checked out mindofsmoothie.tumblr.com for any updates regarding this show or different YouTube videos. You can also find me on Instagram at Mind of Smoothie, Twitter, same at Mind of Smoothie, and Facebook. You can jump on over, search out Mind of Smoothie, and you can join the Facebook group and the fan page for Mind of Smoothie. And that's going to do it. Thank you for tuning in, and we will talk to you on the next one, or we will see you on the next one. Take care, everyone.